How's it going, everyone? Anchor Pete here, and I'm with my wife, Sherry T. And we are here for a very special little announcement. They just released the Wheel of Time trailer for the Amazon series, the Amazon Prime show, right? And there's going to be 8 episodes starting November 19th. Got a little bit of time, but boy, have fantasy fans been really excited about this show. Sherry, are you excited about this show?
Not really, but I haven't read the books. I hear the books are fantastic. How many books are there in the Wheel of Time series, Peter?
There's 14.
Cute.
They're really big. Look, they're actually like right behind my head too. See them on the other side of my head?
Yeah.
My huge head.
They're taking up all the space on my bookshelf because they're really fat paperbacks.
Yeah.
And I get irritated because it's blocking out all of my type books. But I've heard they're really amazing.
Well, you know what? There's kind of a mixed review, right? Most people say they're amazing. I have some fans some friends that just eat them up and love them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then there are other people that are like, oh man, this series just goes on and on. There's whole books where like nothing happens. And one other thing is that the guy that wrote him, Robert Jordan, he died before he completed the series. And so they actually had to have another writer come in, Brandon Sanderson, who's this fantastic writer. And he like wrapped up the whole series.
Oh, I don't love ghostwriter projects.
Yeah, but you know what? If you're gonna have a ghostwriter, I think Brandon Sanderson's pretty much the best.
Which book did he come in on?
I think it's like the last 2.
Oh, okay.
I might be wrong.
Okay, so the bulk of the books were created by the original
Robert Jordan,
author. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the trailer.
Yeah, and then just one last thing before we do though. The first book, Eye of the World, which the show this season is probably based upon, came out in January of 1990. So they're not like super old.
No, they're not.
But I mean, the scary thing is 1990 is like what, 30 years?
I can see 1990 clear as day in my mind.
Yeah.
So for me, it's not far at all.
Sherry and I have both worked in bookstores for big portions of our lives, and I'm sure you just remember seeing those books on the shelf.
Library for me. Library.
Okay. Yeah, right. And I worked in a lot of bookstores, but these books were always on the shelf, and people were always buying them too. All right. Hey, you know what? That's a good advice. We should talk about the trailer if we're doing a trailer review. All right. So the trailer, for me, and I want to hear your thoughts, obviously. I think probably the reason why you weren't as excited is because it probably looked like a lot of different battles and people using magic to fight, right? Whereas I think that's something that kind of turns you off, right?
Yeah. What turns me off is like a lack of dialogue. It's one of my favorite things about film and TV shows is excellent dialogue, well-developed characters, a good plot. This may have all of those things, but the trailer did not focus on this. The trailer focused on action. Like really cool special effects, like how everything looked. And I just need more than that. It looks amazing to the visual eye. I just need more. And how many lines of dialogue were there? Like 4?
They had this one line at the very beginning that if you weren't paying attention, you'd miss it right away. Where
be strong.
Be strong. Right. Like be strong for this trailer. Bye. Right. And that was, I believe that was Egwene pushing Nynaeve into the river. And so she said that. Then there's like a narration by Rosamund Pike, who plays Moraine, right? She's Aes Sedai. And already there's some weird names, right?
Yeah, I'm going to have trouble with those.
Okay. So anyway, we go Moraine. I'll tell you all about all these characters in a minute too. But she talks about the wheel of time turning, and then she talks about like the power that women have. Yeah. One of the things that you might find appealing about this series, if we end up covering it for this channel, is that the women are the only people that can use magic in this world.
That sounds a lot like another show that's been on HBO recently. Joss Whedon.
Nevers?
Yeah.
Yeah, but this came out
it's not
way
it's clearly
before.
Not Victorian era. Different setting, different time. This looks more hobbity.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, like this was around since 1990. That
okay, it's just the timing. It's kind of like when Dante's Peak and help me out, Volcano came out at the same time. They like to put out the same types of show at the same time.
Maybe. I mean, the thing about women being the only ones that can control magic is pretty important to the plot, but I feel like the Nevers, that's like the main plot. Whereas, there's so much more to this. This is a huge world.
Let me ask you this, with that being a major plot point, does there end up being one man who's able to do some magic? That's my guess. And and he's special.
Well, slight spoilers. I mean, you guys either have no clue about this show or this
Like me.
book, right? Like Sherry, or maybe you've read a couple of the books or you've read the whole series, but just light spoilers, okay? Yeah, the main guy is the guy that has this power. And you know what? I've always thought this too, that's very similar to Dune, where Paul Atreides has this special power because of the way he was, he was almost like genetically engineered to have this power.
Mhm.
And he's like the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. And then the women in this are called the Aes Sedai, and they always kind of reminded me of the Bene Gesserit from Dune too.
Okay.
Dune obviously came out way before this.
I'm just saying they kind of seem like they want to be progressive by giving women all the power, but then they make the main character a guy who also has the power. I know these books were written a while ago.
Right.
So I don't know. Just some thoughts in my mind.
I would say that from reading the books, and this is the reason why I'm excited about this show, is that as far as being progressive, yeah, they made it that the man is the one that has the greatest power, or that, like, he has the power and he's the exception. But the female characters are really intriguing. Like, you really are interested in the female characters. They're very well fleshed out. They're not like damsels in distress. They are strong characters, often smarter than the male characters. And Robert Jordan, he was ahead of the curve with this. Way ahead of, it took another decade or so for other books and series to catch up.
Okay. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that about the women, and I obviously don't know how it's all going to play out.
Yeah.
So, I'm keeping an open mind.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that Rosamund Pike is in this because she's really fantastic and fabulous in everything.
God. Yes.
So just seeing her, made me happy. She has very dark hair. I've never seen her like that. She's always a blonde or something.
Yeah. I also share that sentiment. I love Rosamund Pike. I think she's great. We didn't like that movie that she was in recently. Like, it wasn't Please Scared.
I Care a Lot.
I Care a Lot, right?
We didn't like the movie, but
she
was good.
Right.
She was
right.
She's always good.
Right. Exactly. I mean, Gone Girl. She's ridiculous in that.
Mm-hmm.
She is. You need some kind of character that's played by an established actor to kind of be the lead, and that everyone's going to be excited about. Her character that she plays is sort of like this figurehead character that everyone kind of gets behind.
Oh, I thought she was maybe a bad guy. She's all dark and wearing black, and she enters in. They have a few scenes. But...
She's one of those Aes Sedai. She comes to this town and finds the guy who has the power and his friends and brings them out of the town when it gets attacked. Light spoilers, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, she's like Professor X or something.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay.
They show a little bit of that attack at the end of the trailer.
Okay.
And she has a guy, my friend Billy, who he always recommends books to me. Billy is a huge fan of this series. Huge fan. He's always like, read these books, get into these books, Once you get up to chapter blah 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 in book 2. And I gotta admit, guys, I've only got to halfway through the second book, The Great Hunt, but I plan on reading more because of this show.
Yeah, you want to get prepared.
Yes. But Billy loves this one guy who's like her second in command. This guy looks after her. He's a warder, and his name is Alon. And you might have seen her. He was like a swordsman.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of doing some cool moves. They showed him in the trailer. What do you think of the creatures in the trailer?
Oh, I was intrigued. I saw something with a very smooth face,
right,
but then a terrible mouth.
Yeah.
What was that?
So there's all different types of creatures. There's a Myrddraal, which is sort of like this kind of dark lord. They showed him. He almost looked like a ring wraith at one point, right? Then there are these creatures that fly in the sky, and then there's Trollocs, which are kind of like orcs. But one thing that I've really enjoyed about this series that I think they've captured with the creature design is that the creature stuff is really scary. There's scary stuff in it.
Good.
They're not just cannon fodder. You're legitimately scared of them.
Good. If they want to make this, is this an R-rated show like Game of Thrones?
I don't think we're going to get in that direction. No, I think it's probably PG-13.
Okay.
It's more like Lord of the Rings.
Can I tell you something I read about this show?
Please do.
So back in 2017,
mm-hmm.
there was a mandate from Jeff Bezos. This show is on Amazon Prime, by the way.
Yes.
There's a mandate from Jeff Bezos. Bring me the next Game of Thrones.
There you go.
That's the word that the creative community. I'm sorry, I'm reading off my phone.
That's okay.
I'll be quick. Has the creative community buzzing this week about a major strategy shift underway for Amazon Studios' original series efforts. I'm guessing that this is the answer to Jeff Bezos's mandate. I've heard they're also working on some sort of Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah. So he's like, bring me the next Lord of the Rings. And I'm like, well, we'll bring you actual Lord of the Rings too.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't care.
He said, bring me the next Game of Thrones.
Oh, Game of Thrones. Okay, right. I should actually listen to you when you're saying stuff.
Yeah,
right?
because Game of Thrones is like the most popular show like in the past
decade.
Yeah, something like that. So he was, and it's not often that everybody is talking about the same show all at the
Water
same
cooler.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often. It happened with Mayor of Easttown also, by the way.
Yeah.
But Game of Thrones was like one of the last really big ones. So he wants to repeat that for Amazon instead of, obviously HBO had that show.
Yeah.
So he's looking for that. They've already renewed a second season, even though the first season hasn't even come out for Wheel of Time.
Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, so they're betting, they're putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got to say that for Amazon, I have faith in their ability to put out a good show. I've watched a couple of their shows recently, like The Boys. The Boys is an incredible adaptation of this comic. I actually feel like it's an improvement upon the comic, The Boys. And then also there's an animated show, Invincible, that Amazon put out. And that I felt like was an improvement on the comic too. So if they can like elevate the source material, if they can make this show kind of not just for the kind of bookish guys that I know and I kind of am, right? If they can make it for more than just that, I think this will be a big hit. This will be their Game of Thrones.
And I think if it's a good quality show, it'll do well. I just don't really believe in just jumping on a bandwagon.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like lightning strikes and it doesn't necessarily strike twice. And they got, Game of Thrones was an amazing, awesome hit and everything, but I don't know if it's going to work a second time. That said, it did look good and interesting, and I'd totally give it a chance.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah.
Who's the showrunner?
The showrunner is, oh man, I'm going to mess up his name. I mean, I think it's Rafe Judkins. And he has been a writer and a producer on multiple shows, including Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Hemlock Grove, and I think, well, this is the other one.
How was Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Did you watch that?
I did. It's been on for a lot of seasons. I'm not sure which seasons he was in charge of, but there was this really great sweet spot where I was like, wow, this is really good. And unfortunately, Marvel kind of treats that show as if it's not part of their universe anymore. But I thought that they really had something good going there for a while. If he was in charge then I feel good about this show too.
Right, and we haven't watched Hemlock Grove, so
No.
we don't have much to go on.
Yeah, that must have been somewhat intriguing though, right? It didn't have one of the Skarsgård guys and Famke Jenkins.
Yeah, it had a good cast. I remember being interested back
Jensen.
in. I was interested in it back when it came out. I think it 2010 or 11 or 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Something like that. I was interested, but we didn't watch it, and so I can't really say if I know that this is a good showrunner. I don't know what kind of work he's going to do.
Yeah.
So we'll just have to wait and see, along with everyone else.
Yeah. You know what? If we end up watching the show when it comes out and Sherry likes it a lot, then we will cover it once a week, like we did Mayor of Easttown.
Much like the women on the show, I have the power.
You have the Sherry. Come on, everybody knows that from watching the show. Anyway, that is our little discussion for Wheel of Time, the teaser trailer that just came out.
Do you keep wanting to say Wheel of Fortune?
I almost said Eye of the World because that's the first book.
Oh, I keep wanting to say Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. But what I will say is that within the next week, I'm going to put up a review of another fantasy book, actually, but kind of more like not Lord of the Rings, Game of Thrones. It's called A Little Hatred, and it's by a guy named Joe Abercrombie, and it's like Game of Thrones, where it's like just kind of people being miserable. She's like, all right, get off the.
Well, I wanted this to be short because it's just a trailer review.
All right.
I just want to say A Little Hatred's a great title,
isn't it? Yeah. And then the second book's called The Trouble with Peace. I finally have trouble talking today.
That means we should.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't liked and subscribed, please come join us. We have reviews of books and TV shows and movies on this channel every week. Thank you.